Hello and welcome to Trashy Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's garbage people and to look at all the trashy news stories. My name is Erica and I'm your host.
My name is Cassandra and I'm your other host. It's great to be here. Another week.
Honestly, I'm just happy to be in the room. Just happy to, just happy to be in the room. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. How are you? What's going on? How was your Valentine's?
It was okay. It was special because I was with Winston.
That's nice. That's a good political answer.
We had bought steaks. We had bought bacon and Brussels sprouts and shrimp and all like vegetables and potatoes. And we were gonna do it up. He hasn't been feeling well, so we didn't want to go. We had reservations for a restaurant, decided to cancel those, did a home cook instead, right? Big steaks. Well, we go to cook dinner. No gas, no pilot light. So I'm like, okay,
that's
no
not
big
good.
deal. No big deal. I'll
relight
just go.
It.
Yeah, we'll try to relight it. Nothing. All right. So I call the gas. We're paid up. I'm like, we're paid. Call the gas company, and they're like, yeah, we can try to send somebody out tonight, but the appointments online say that nothing's available till a week from today.
Oh, do they?
Oh, really? So
you can't light your own pilot light? Oh,
no, I guess we were trying. There was nothing to light.
Oh, there's no gas.
There's no gas.
Sin gas.
So then we are like, okay. So then I'm talking to the lady, and she's like, if we send technicians out tonight, and if we live in our building, if your earthquake valve has been turned off, and they have to turn it back on, just a simple flick of the wrist, that's $80 added to your bill. Our bill's never been more than like $20 a month. So I'm like, okay. So I talked to my building manager. Hey, is anybody else's gas out? Right? Somebody was being fumigated. There's construction happening. Maybe something happened.
Sure.
He's like, no, I'm cooking right now. I knock on a couple.
Okay,
of neighbors.
brag.
I know. I'm like, well, invite us in for the enchiladas. But
yeah, let's go.
I knock on a couple people's doors, and the building manager says, and I quote, the whole building is on one earthquake meter, meaning if I'm cooking with gas, everyone should be able to, or no, if no one's gas, no, so it's like, okay. So I'm like, I'll just simply go check the meter. I'm a capable human.
Sure.
The construction crew that's been renovating the apartment that had an explosion in December, it's a whole mess. There are trash bags piled.
I forgot about that explosion. So sorry. That was traumatic.
They are piled the entire width of the alleyway, like our back alley where the meters are, and above my height, full of black trash bags of, debris, who knows?
Sure.
Human body parts.
Absolutely.
Merchandise. I don't know. What could it be? Broken glass, needles. I don't know what it is. I can't climb over it. So even if I had sent the gas folks out, they would have tripped all over it. So I take photos. I make a note of it. We put in a maintenance request. We're frustrated as hell, so we have to order food. No big deal. It's delicious. It's fine. Again, we're together. That's the point of the thing.
Yeah.
The next day, the technician comes out and he goes, I'm going to go check the earthquake deal. And I go, okay. Guess what? Each apartment has an individual earthquake meter.
Ugh.
And ours got knocked by the construction.
God damn it.
Oh, I was furious. And I was like, thank God I didn't have the gas company come out. And now I have to find my building manager again and be like, hey, just so you know, each apartment is individual. Your job, Anyway, but then eventually we did have the steak dinner, and my love got to watch me eat meat off the bone. It was, something I treasure, our memory of that while watching Physical 100.
Hell yeah.
The Korean strength Netflix show, and we're coaching him the entire time. We're giving commentary.
Absolutely. They're I can't. He needs to understand everyone else is using their legs for this. He's the only one using his arms. Like, you'd think he would use your legs,
Yes. That's
totally.
They're conserving their energy for this part, and everyone has strength in different ways. Yeah, we're experts. We're gonna get strong, move to Korea, become famous enough in the fitness world in Korea to compete on this show again. So
sure.
yeah.
I love that.
I'm not good at memorizing people's name, like on reality shows, contestants. It took me 2 seasons to know the difference between Meredith Marks and Lisa Barlow. 2 seasons. Oh, Housewives of Salt Lake City. So I don't know everyone's name. There's like 5 people's name I know on the show. And it's not that they're Korean names. There are 100 contestants.
You don't need to come and apologize on Trashy Podcast for not knowing the exact name of someone on a reality show.
I know. I'm like, Survivor. I'm 18 episodes in before I know which one's which. And that's when we're down to like, 6 people on a tribe where I finally know everyone's name. I identify them by like yellow shorts. But Erica, on this show, everyone's wearing the same uniform. So we just know suit guy, like the older MMA fighter that came in that dope green suit.
Yes.
Miracle, the amazing
Miracle, Miracle.
Nigerian born dancer. Nippon, who is a American Nippert. He's a American baseball pitcher who moved and has been playing on a team in Korea for the last like 12 years. End of list. I feel so bad.
I'll be in an improv class with people, like physically in person with them, and it'll take me until the end of the class to know for sure what everyone's name is. So you don't have to feel that bad. It's all names are, what's in a name?
What's in a name? If you get a yeah, buddy, or girl, I don't know your name. I could have met you 100 times. I also do the thing where I reintroduce myself because I'm giving you the courtesy that you don't know my name. People I've met and known for years. If I haven't seen you in like a month and a half, I'll be like, hey, it's Erica. And they're like, I know. We went to high school together.
Yeah. Sorry.
So, yeah. But that drives me nuts when people get upset about that kind of thing,
Sure.
So it's like, you should be lucky I recognize you by sight, but but what has your week been like? That's me. That's a rant about me.
Well, we tried to have a Valentine's Day on Saturday, but Taylor was pretty busy with work, so it was a little bit distracted. We also opted for steak, which, if you listen or know me, like I've been eating pretty much entirely vegan since like Halloween. So it was a treat. But it was just kind of off, I guess, like we're just busy, distracted, whatever. So on actual Valentine's Day, I was surprised by Taylor with he got some dollar store balloons, which is one of my favorite things. Like nothing makes a party like just going and getting some helium balloons from the dollar store. And before you tell me about how they're bad for the environment, like save your energy and go and write a letter to your congressperson about BP, okay? Because I like dollar store helium balloons and life is bad. So like, let me have this, you know what I'm saying? So he got a couple of those heart-shaped balloons, and then he went to this local liquor store that we like. I guess it's not local to us, but it's close to us. It's called Fancy Free. It's in Burbank. And they had a Valentine's Day special where they were like doing a collab with some fancy ass bakery or whatever called Sliders. So it was like 6 cookies from Sliders and 2 bottles of natural red wine. So he showed up with all that. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I really didn't expect this. I thought we kind of, like called it with the Valentine's of like, we tried, but this year is just not the year because we're getting married and soon. And like, we're stressed and his show's bad and whatever. But he made up for it. Now, still super tired, like to a point where like we didn't even touch those bottles of wine. We still haven't. So we might, we still haven't as of this recording. Who's to say? You're listening to this on President's Day if you're listening on the Monday. So this was a 3-day weekend for a lot of people. So honestly, if those 2 bottles of wine made it through a 3-day weekend, perhaps I have changed. And I can't say I've changed for the better.
I love it.
Yeah. Why are you trash?
So, well, I was trying to think of something presidential or leadership in the past or any of those things. And the thing that got me thinking was, elementary school. And I know that seems like
Sure.
a leap, I guess, for a lot, but I always felt like I was a leader. I ran for sixth grade class president. I lost. I don't want to discuss the campaign, the illegal dealings of the other party, but that's another day. That's another day, But I went to one of the churches in our town, our small town, 400, 600 people, but we had like 12 churches.
Sure.
50 person a pop, whatever. But they had this program called GIA, and it stood for Girls in Action. And what it was basically like training girls to become missionaries, or like encouraging them with missionary stories. There were workbooks, like, remember like the Scholastic, magazines? We got like a magazine every week from GIA, and we would read it at the church. So we'd read these stories from people around the world. I don't want to talk about how I feel about missionary work. I feel like it's a form of colonial. It's not for me. I don't believe in it at all.
Okay.
But that's a whole other thing. That's adult Erica. Me, it was something to do after school and hang out with my friends. So the leadership, so what we would do is there were snacks. One or two girls would get selected from the church kitchen to pour, Kool-Aid into little cups and put like peanut butter on a cracker or slice an apple. And we got snacks after it was over. And that was the most competitive, deal wielding. No, I'll do snacks this time, but I'll let you be reader, the lead reader. So we would read out loud from these magazines. It was backroom dealing. It was swift. It was underhanded, overhanded, overt campaigning for who would get to be the snack leader. This poor church volunteer not getting paid, having to deal with us fucking, 4th to 6th grade monsters over who would get to be the snack leader. She's like, well, we're here to learn about missionaries and God. And we're like, fuck you, Brenda. We're here to slice apples and pour Kool-Aid. Okay. And we would just go mess around in the kitchen. But the thing we did that was so monstrous, more than campaigning for who would be this, was, we're reading these stories from all around the world, missionaries, different countries, different words. And we could not wait to correct someone. If you're like, so I'm, Celeste, and I went to Zimbabwe to become a missionary. And let's say that girl reading it out loud said, I'm Sisa, and I went to Zimbabwe. We would be like, it's Celeste. It's pronounced Zimbabwe. Like the correcting of other people's readings was, if we would have had guns, people would have been dead. We couldn't wait. You couldn't even finish the syllable almost before we were like, it's actually this. It's fable, not fable. Like we couldn't, we are monsters.
So the missionary, like Girls in Action, were really just mean girls.
Complete mean girls. I don't think any of us became missionaries. We couldn't wait to mean girl one another. But it was something we got to walk to after school, by ourselves.
Also, 4th and 6th grade. Those are, you guys didn't stand a chance.
It was 4 blocks. Yeah. It was, 4 blocks to the church. And then every once in a while, our friend Matt lived across from the church.
A boy.
And his house was he was like our brother boy. We'd been in school with him since kindergarten. But every once in a while, we would just ditch and go hang out at Matt's house. Matt Kuhlman's. His name was Matt Kuhlman. The coolest name in the universe.
Totally.
And we would get in so much trouble if we got caught and couldn't go to GIA for like a month. But we couldn't wait to, none of us were there for God. We couldn't wait to correct how you pronounce something, fight about who was going to get to read what paragraphs, and make the snacks. It was monstrous. We were little trash monsters.
Church ladies in the making.
Complete church committee ladies in the making. But yeah, it was the leadership skills I didn't learn in that lesson, which served me in the corporate adult world today. But yeah,
Sure.
Why are you trash?
Well, here's what happened. As the wedding is approaching, I I have to start testing out things of, how are you going to do your nails when you're,
Mhm.
on the wedding day, etc. So, I've been, like we went to Vegas, and so I'm not going to take like a nude bridal set to Vegas.
Right.
And now we're coming to Valentine's Day, or we got to Valentine's Day, and I was like, oh, God, I'm not ready for my like boring nude bridal set. Which, before you say bridal nails don't have to be boring, girl, I'm going to fucking Europe for 3 weeks. I need a nude set. Okay.
Yeah,
So just
a
like,
neutral. Yeah.
I need it because those nails have to last. Okay. I'm not going to go try to get gel extensions in Porto. I don't want to. I'm busy. Okay.
But
So
as a friend, if you want me to research ahead of time, if you
thank
break a
you.
nail, where to get them fixed in every city, I will put in the work. Let me know,
Thank you.
and I will make a Google Doc so fast.
I'm bringing nail glue, but I'll let you know. I'll text you in the middle of the night, and I'll be like, I'm in Lisbon, babe, and my nails are fucked.
You'll have an appointment by the morning.
Thank you. So I've been kind of putting off this nude set. Anyways, I was like, maybe for Valentine's Day, I will get a French tip, because every time I ask Taylor, like, what should I do with my nails? He's always like, well, you could do one of the ones where the white is on the end. And I was like, that's called a French tip. And then I tend to mock him, because I say only people who have French tips are porn stars. Stop watching so much porn. You're a sick man. And, like, that's kind of the joke. So anyways, I was like, I'm going to get a French tip for Valentine's Day to surprise him. There is a good reason why I don't have French tips. My nails are filthy. And I didn't know that so much until I got these French tips. But I'm like, are my under my fingernails are always this dirty? Because it's like a subtle French. I didn't go like the thick line across like we all had in high school and middle school.
Yeah, the half white, half nude.
Yeah, like I got like, I get rounded nails to look, quote unquote natural. And then, like it's kind of like a subtle French tip. My nails look gross. Like they look gross all the time. And I'm like, when did my nails become so involved in like eating?
Yeah.
Because what else could be caking under there if not food? I mean, I live in LA, so it's just constant like dirt and pollution under my nails. Like, but like the food, and I'm like, I know I'm not using my hands as forks. So what am I doing? Why are my nails always so gross? And why is no one talking about this? If not, it's only me who has this problem.
I have it too. I clean them all the time.
Just
I have to keep nails on. Yeah, if I have my natural, just me, I'm mortified, because I'm like,
oh my God, my natural
I
nails.
wash my hands. I promise I clean under my fingernails. They just are they're just dirty. I don't know what
dirty.
It's embarrassing, but
yeah. So, I mean, like, I have if I have my nails painted, I mean, even the nude is like a thick enough nude. You're not going to see anything. It's not see-through. So
yeah,
I'm really looking forward to getting rid of these French tips, because like, it's like a light pink to the French. And through that light pink, you can see the dirt and grime that is me. And, I feel shame. Shame.
Speaking of, things that make you feel shame, that are light pink and can make you feel grimy, should we get into our first story?
Yeah, let's do it.
From express.co.uk, masked sex toy thieves steal 71,000 pounds worth of 24-karat gold vibrators from a factory.
I don't want to like let everyone know how the sausage is made, but the first time you took that, you said masked sex thieves, not sex toy thieves. And I was like, should I let it go? Like, should I let the listeners be like, what's a sex thief?
This is you're always girls in action me, please. I just miss.
Oh yeah, that was what I was doing. I was girls in actioning you.
Complete. I add syllables to a lot of words as I say them, read them. I'll just omit words that do not serve me. So the toy didn't serve me. I have a very creative way of reading out loud sometimes, and it's a
Didn't
struggle.
serve you, but it serves the story.
Truly,
it provides a lot of context between somebody who stole some sex toys and I suppose a sex thief is a rapist. So,
ooh, yeah.
I mean, what else would you say? Anyways, this is from the Dream Love Factory. It's been targeted for the third time in 2 years. Change the locks, guys.
Up the security.
My God, or sell something different, because it sounds like these thieves keep stealing these 24-carat gold-plated vibrators that are worth around 71,000 pounds, which translates to about $80,000 American.
This is 80,000 euros.
Well, it's 79,146 euros, which translates to about 80,000 euros. Or $80,000.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, my bad.
Okay. I was doing the quick conversion in my head because I'm a traveled woman of the world.
Wow, you're
ever
right.
heard of it?
I'm sorry. I tried to GIA you, and you smacked it back in my court.
Girl, I was in show choir. You can mean girl me all you want, but I'm built for this. I've been an actress since I was 13. You think I bleed? I don't fucking bleed.
I was in pageants and a sorority in a Midwest state school, baby. Like, you can't break me.
That's why
you can't break me. You think mean shit on the internet gets to me?
Huh.
At my internet friend show, if I got a bad review, we made it part of the advertising. We leaned in. Yeah. Anyway, we got one.
Mean stuff on the internet does hurt me though, so please don't say mean things on the internet. I really hate it. I actually I'm human. I can take it to my face. I honestly can handle a little bit better online. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Then I start to worry about you. I start to worry about the person who's left the comment also of what's going on with them. So just don't do it. Anyways, gold vibrators stolen.
It took place at 11:41 p.m. on a Wednesday night. It was reported by the local media. The chief executive officer of the company said the gang made straight for the gold-traded vibrators. They said platinum, no. Diamond vibrators, absolutely not. Gold. They sell for 14,000 pounds a piece.
What the hell do you need this for? I mean, never mind.
Doctors, experts,
they wouldn't make it.
If you have, let's say, one of these, vibration, these sex toys, and the paint is starting to flake off of something, should you still use it?
You think I figured it was made out of gold. It was.
No, I'm asking for heavy. A friend.
Oh,
I'm asking.
You have a vibrator that's painted?
I don't know if it's paint. It's coated. Let's say coated, maybe. This is for a friend.
I would replace it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a doctor.
I'll tell my friend. Okay. You're not a friend.
Okay.
You're not a doctor. This is not medical.
I'm not a
advice.
doctor, but I think any potential residue that could be left behind is probably not awesome. I mean, you see what the plastics does to the turtles.
You know what? You're fair.
Pour one out. Pour one out for those turtles.
Sarah McLaughlin song. They also stole 24,000 euros from cash in the safe as well. Damn.
How did they get into the safe? Did they use the golden dildos to break it open?
I think it's an inside job.
You might be onto something there, my friend.
3 times in 2 years, they get into the safe. No. They know exactly where the gold dildos are. No. This is an inside job. This is inside job written all over it. If you want to make it look like it's random, open a couple boxes are wrong and then be like, dump them out because they're not right.
You are not giving advice.
I listened to a firefighter explain how to get away with arson. And again, this is not advice. This is just them saying, don't be smart about it. People try to cover their tracks and do everything right. And they're like, no, babes, be stupid. Be very dumb. Dumb people start fires accidentally. Smart people try to get away with arson and cover everything up. Like, do the stupidest thing you can imagine and claim it was an accident, and you're way more likely to get away with it. Don't do arson.
Accidentally. Oh, arson. Okay, I see.
Like set, put some frozen French fries out, put a big old bucket of oil, turn it on, leave for the pub, get drunk, come home, like having, be away from
you
the
get
place.
Insurance though, if you did it on your own?
I mean, more so than go to jail for arson. Yeah.
Yeah, but why'd you do it in the first place if you're going to do it on whatever? Speaking of inside job.
Yeah.
From WG.
Are they inside? Do they go inside?
Who's to say? Male listeners, write in.
Let us know. Or people with penises, let us know.
Yes. Oh, that's better. God, I learned so much from you. From WGNTV.com, a woman in Northwest Indiana has been arrested on Tuesday after allegedly pulling a man's penis in a violent manner. Violent manner in quotes, because we don't kink shame here.
We don't kink shame. And, if you're ever what's the difference between a fetish and a kink? Kink is something that you really enjoy. A fetish is something you have to achieve sexual pleasure.
Is that true?
Yeah, there's a difference. Yeah, kink and fetishes are different. And also, maybe this was this woman's first time. She didn't know what she was doing.
We have to assume, I mean,
who among us?
Who among us doesn't recall their first hand job?
You don't know the strength of your own palm. Anyway,
there's some finesse, and also sometimes it's never figured out because
not for you. Anyway,
also it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Oh, okay. So let's go. So before 7:15, so just before 7:15, the police responded on a battery report. Upon arrival, they met the caller, a 26-year-old male, who stated that he was in a verbal argument with a 20-year-old female in the kitchen. Okay, 20. Inexperienced. Maybe she doesn't know. So,
but it started with an argument.
Well, I'm trying to, give her some defense. I'm trying to give her an out.
Okay.
So the man told the authorities that the woman chased him, grabbed him by the shirt, and then grabbed his penis in a violent manner.
Okay.
The police report states that she would not let it go and began to pull. They don't come off that easy. A roommate provided police video footage of the entire incident. In it,
oh well, that's that.
That's that, babe. I was trying to help you, but
oops.
Everyone has a cell phone camera. Oh my goodness. She was, taken into custody while she went to a bar after this incident. Then the police came and arrested her, but while at the bar, she told police that she warned the man to stop antagonizing her. She stated the next person who annoyed her would get dicked. Wait. It's D ****ED. I'm assuming get dicked. What could this 6-letter word be? Listeners, write in with your guess. Am I wrong? What do you think this word is?
The next person who messes with me would get dicked. I mean, because
dumped, get dicked, get.
What else would it be if she grabbed his penis with the attempt to hurt him? If that's not getting dicked,
what is?
I don't know what is.
If
it
only
seemed like why after everything else that they're giving us in this story, why would they edit out whether or not she said get dicked?
It's so weird what people do. If only there were a masked crusader who is the knight that could have helped this man from this incident.
Do you think that this is a case for Batman? You think that her crime origin story, she's the dickler?
I don't need Batman stopping bank robberies, whatever. It's insured. As long as nobody gets shot, we're fine. the money, who gives a shit? You're a billionaire, Batman. Replace it yourself. What
As
I want
if billionaires do that.
I know. What I want to see is Batman doing the little crimes. Oh, you steal a neighbor's package? Knock, knock, it's Batman. That's what I want to see. So our next story is from WTAG.com.
At Luna, home invader kidnapped man and claimed, I am Batman. I might be putting some sauce on that, but that's how I read it.
I read it.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Okay.
That's how I got it.
No, that makes sense.
With nipples on his suit, four home invasions, a kidnapped man, a stolen truck, and At Luna led 3 police departments to arrest a man on Monday evening.
At Luna, by the way, we are in Pennsylvania, in case you were wondering where Batman lives, where the Gotham City in the real world is. It turns out it's in Pennsylvania.
This man has a superhero's name.
You're not wrong.
His name is Robert Powers. That sounds like a superhero's alias, right?
So maybe he is Batman.
Who's to say? So he had caused chaos throughout the city and the township, the surrounding areas, and he even told one homeowner, I am Batman, as he tried to overpower her.
One homeowner?
Yes. What'd I say?
One homer. See, you brought up the GIA, and now I'm going to be so toxic.
You got to do it. Guys, again, a homer should be what a homeowner's called. Too many letters.
Homer.
Homer, like homeowner. Like, we're going to drop it. In 150 years, we're going to call homeowners homers. In fact, that's what I'm a fucking calling right now. I'm starting this. Mark my words. February 17th, 2023. The new slang. I'm going to put it on Instagram. I'm going to put it on Twitter. Watch the youth pick it up. Watch real estate agents put it on their TikToks. Homeowners, your new classification is homers.
Now that was a masterclass in how to get called out on something and take no accountability and instead, make a lemonade out of lemons. And that I have to attribute that to the pageant days, I assume, but that was really beautiful.
Absolutely. I'm coming for George Santos' spot in Congress.
Oh, wow. What a weirdo, but we don't possibly have the time nor
can't unpack that. I was young and I had fun at a festival. Anyway, so he Batman put her in a bear hug, put his hand over her mouth. She got free and he left because, I
don't think that it's comforting in that moment to have someone say, I'm Batman, because it's like, shit,
okay.
Like that's, I wouldn't think, is this really happening? This is Batman. I'd be like, oh, fuck. A crazy person has their arms around me and they think they're Batman. So this isn't going to end well for me. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Why is the police enabling this man?
Like, show me the light in the sky or Batman's not here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, but Batman does have like a sick drip. He does have a good outfit, right?
Erica, babe, I can't possibly say how old you are on this podcast, but sick drip.
So the youths. I'm a youth.
They said that like 4 years ago.
Damn it.
It's called the fit now.
God.
Well, actually, honestly, the fact that I know that means it's probably not called the fit anymore either. But sick drip, respect the drip. Oh, Erica. I've 2017 called.
I've been in a coma for the last 6 years. I don't know. What's this COVID thing you speak of?
Oh, there's no time to possibly unpack that.
But it comes to our next story.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah. From 2fab.com. Man dressed as sheep attempts daring prison escape.
You can't imprison an animal in a human's prison. This is sure to work.
Unethical. Yeah. Can you imagine? Who's your Selly? Oh, that pig that tried to eat its owner. Oh, really? I'm with an actual murderer and a bank robber. He's like, yeah. Well, I'm in the pig pen. I'm literally Selly's with a pig.
Bet it doesn't smell like shit.
So A man imitated a grazing animal in the grass while wearing a sheepskin coat. He's convicted of homicide. Ooh. He was
Ugh.
trying to escape from a prison in Bolivia. Ooh. So he was serving a 15-year sentence. He was caught imitating the animal, and he tried to break through an external wall on February 4th. Photos were obtained by the New York Post. He's wearing a sheepskin coat when he was caught in the weeds. That's really cute. I wonder how long he kept it up. Like, you're
the
him.
sheep act.
Yes, like
Oh,
you're
I'm
him.
him. Okay.
Yeah. We gotcha. Hey, we know that you're the guy, the murderer. Stop pretending. Dude, stand up. You can walk on 2 legs. Tase him. Great. That's very good.
Thank
very,
you.
Very good.
Wow. Honestly, I did better.
Groundlings.
Yeah, that's the groundlings. Don't ever tell me it's a waste of money. Did you hear my impression? Someone call SNL.
So they got wind of the attempted escape when they found his cell empty.
Oh.
Here's what you gotta now make you gotta do the Alcatraz and make a paper mache head of you laying down.
Where do you get a sheepskin coat in prison? Because that is my bigger question.
Great question. Yeah, where is the fit? I think we're thinking American, because this is in Bolivia. The American penitentiary system is very, I do believe other like global and different countries prison systems have more flexibility and different rules and kind of
They let you have sheepskin coats?
maybe, I don't know, maybe policy will change, but I don't think, I think we think of like you're issued this, you have the prison issued coat, you have the prison issued pants, shirt, whatever. I do think other countries may have more flexibility. There's some countries where they just get to like go away for the weekend and then come back on Monday. Which is wild.
I just Googled, is sheepskin allowed in prison? And got taken to a very helpful website from ca.gov about what I can bring into a prison cell or bring into visit, and clicked off because I don't need my algorithm
condoms
being. Oh.
Yeah, you gotta adjust that search.
Oh, yeah. That's a weird thing. I mean, not to get too into it, but the whole, I guess it's not weird to be allergic to latex, but sheepskin condoms, what a funny thing. Like, is that a real thing, or is that just like a joke on TV?
No, it's a real thing. Yeah. Question: what do plant-based and like vegans who are allergic to latex used for contraception?
The pull-out method.
Oh, okay. Tried and true. Tried and true. Yeah. Well, this guy in our next story did not pull out the weapon he was accused of while robbing a bank.
An Indianapolis man was accidentally trying to rob a bank using a TV remote. Oops.
You said accidentally. I feel like he was trying to get away with one. Like, I'll do this non-violently, right?
I think that he was like, I gotta rob a bank. I'm really drowning in it. I got kids at home and they always mess with my stuff, but they gotta eat. And then, I better rob this bank. And sure enough, he found that his child swapped the old gun for TV remote switcheroo. And
I can't tell you how many times I did that when I was a kid.
I mean, it's basically a sitcom right here.
Yeah, truly sitcom setup.
Yeah.
He had the remote in his pocket, so when he pointed it outward, in the pocket of his coat, so when he pointed it outward, it did protrude and look like he could have a gun or some type of weapon in his pocket. But then he pulled it out and started slamming the remote on the teller counter while saying, "Give me $10,000 or I will kill you. Give me $10,000 or I will kill you." And she's like, "Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." Like, she kept her cool and was just, "I'm gonna have to ask you to leave."
It was not even like his normal cable remote. It was just a tiny soundbar remote.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
It's like, you got to bring the big dog at least. Bring that old one that's like a master. It's got the
I know
Apple
the
TV, the
huge master
Roku,
ones, yeah.
the stereo, the TV, VR, like the ones that were basically textbook size and the thickness.
He wasn't wearing a face mask, and by the time that the police showed up, they found him just sitting on the curb near the bank, really having like a Charlie Brown moment to himself. Didn't even fight it. I mean, you could have at least, like, just because you forgot your gun didn't mean that you forgot like your car to drive home, and like
That
like
teller
what was
truly
his
pulled the
plan?
football.
Yeah,
I think he's just like, that didn't work. God damn it.
time for jail.
Yeah.
But did he get arrested for anything? I mean, he didn't actually successfully do anything. Like, no one got hurt. He
Made the threat.
Oh, you can't even make threats anymore?
I get, is this America? Not
Yeah,
my
this
America.
country. PC police, you can't even make a good old fashioned bank robbery threat without facing time.
So this guy was trying to rob a bank, and the next guy got robbed by a fish.
Yeah. So from news.sky.com, a pet fish spend cash and what?
A pet fish spent. I guess that should be spent.
Oh, a pet fish.
Yeah.
A pet fish spent cash and exposed a Nintendo Switch's owner's credit card during Pokemon live stream.
So the latest Pokemon games have been criticized for being buggy, and they lived up to that reputation by crashing during an experiment with a fish.
So there's supposed to be a fish, and it's carried on entering commands. Oh, what?
No. So
what am I not understanding about the story?
It's written.
I obviously don't get it.
It's written very weird. Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened was a player set up a fish that was to carry out. So whatever the fish did, it was commanded through the game. So the owner had a unique streaming setup. So essentially, if the fish turned left, then the remote would veer left or right. So whatever it was, it would
a real fish.
Yeah. So it was just swimming around
sensor. Okay.
with a motion sensor playing as the player.
Okay.
So this guy, rigged this system up, but it spent money and revealed the credit card details to thousands of people during a live stream. It was by a Japanese YouTuber.
Himself.
Truly.
Like it's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was during this experiment by this Japanese YouTuber to see if a fish could complete a video game by itself. But so he had the webcam pointed at the fish. He had motion tracking software to monitor the movements and translate them into button inputs. Right. But, each square was labeled with a command. He gridded out, little, every, controller had a grid on the bowl. But but he had done this before. It had previously completed a game, and it took 3,000 hours over that. So it was around 11,000 hours into this gameplay, though, when it crashed. The game crashed, right? He's very upset. So he was taken away from streaming setup when it happened, but the Switch continued to accept button commands for the fish. Eventually, that managed to navigate to the console store. There, the fish managed to add 500 yen to his account using a credit card that was stored on his Switch and expose the card details to everyone watching.
Ugh.
So the fish was triggered to download from the store, had PayPal send their owner a confirmation email, and change their account name. Nintendo seemed to take a systemic view of the situation, and the company granted a refund. Nintendo seemed to take a sympathetic view of the situation and granted a refund.
Why?
Baby, I don't know. That's fine. I mean, I guess it was only, under $5 basically, but if it had done it for 500,000 or 5,000, I doubt they would have given a refund. But that's wild.
So what did we learn? Don't let your fish play your video games for you.
I've always said that, and no one seems to listen, but whatever. We've been talking a lot about your upcoming nuptials.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's only appropriate to talk about, basically an entire ripoff of my wedding idea.
I know. I didn't want to say anything to the listeners, but here goes.
From BuzzFeed.com. This is a story that someone told about a wedding that they went to in a police station cafeteria that was Matrix themed. If you don't know what the Matrix is, it's a super popular movie series with Keanu Reeves. But what are the odds you don't know what the Matrix is?
Yeah, that would be pretty remote. Even if you haven't seen it, you know the tropes. You know the bullet flying through the liquid air and dodge. You know the red pill, blue pill.
The garb, I haven't actually seen a lot of the Matrix, but I know what they wear. So this is the groomsmen were in floor length leather jackets with tiny sunglasses. I mean, this is the uniform for the Matrix, of course.
They also insisted on calling each other Neo and a Morpheus while high-fiving each other. Woof.
That is so cringe. That is super cringe, but not quite as cringe as the idea that there was already tension at the wedding because the groom, the guy in a floor-length leather jacket with tiny sunglasses who's insisted to be called Neo, had already cheated on his bride a few weeks earlier, but the bride decided to marry him still. So his family took him cheating to think that she wasn't good enough for him. So there's a lot there.
Yeah. So the families, there's tension between the families. The bride's maid of honor, her sister, was very sarcastic in her speech. And, everyone who knew the story was just cringing.
I'm shook that like you have a son who cheated on his soon-to-be wife.
Yeah.
Your son who's dressed up like Neo from the Matrix, and you think to yourself, that's her fault?
That's their baby. That's their baby boy. They got tiny blinders on those tiny sunglass eyes.
There is it a QAnon or is it a like sort of men's rights act? Like who are the people with very bad point of views who have kind of co-opted the Matrix?
The red pill. So
I want to say it's kind of a combo of both, since all those people's Venn diagrams kind of line up.
Yeah, so basically it's a lot of that. Yeah, it's like far right wing, it's QAnon, it's men's rights activist, it's the whole internet community basically, that women have it better than men. And then it got into like that, that's like that's how it kind of started, was this like red pilling. And then now it's kind of more like, now it's kind of like anti-woke.
Got it. Okay. I mean,
yeah, it's like the manosphere, but now it's become far right-wing conservative Q. It's a whole red pilling.
The Matrix, written by a trans woman, by the way, but they don't need to acknowledge that when they're making their talking points. All that is to say, I'm just wondering if there's maybe that element, because I just think that it is so crazy. My son wouldn't have cheated on you if you were good enough for him. Anyways, I don't know. That stuck to me, but it doesn't matter because his family was acting out, insane anyways. Apparently the groom's dad was so drunk that he started grinding on some other woman, and his wife, the groom's mother, I assume, started screaming at him. They wouldn't stop fighting to a point where they cut the music, and then they had a 4-piece high school band play classical music, including a squeaky clarinet. Which, like, where did they come from?
Oh my God. Can you imagine being a high schooler getting the call? Hey, we got a gig for you. You're like, what? I'm just in high school.
A gig?
Yeah. A gig? Oh my God. A wedding? Wow.
Oh.
The MC made a slideshow of images from the movie with the groomsmen's faces photoshopped on very poorly.
That so far is the only thing. Like, if you're going to be at a Matrix wedding, you're going to want that slideshow with, them on. Like, that's the only thing. So, like, you're going to want the jib jab, of
yeah.
That's the only thing that seems appropriate so far.
This is the part that got me. So at one point, the groom's very drunk dad, who had grinded on a woman, all this mess, he stood up and told a long, very convoluted story about a wife giving teaspoons of sugar to God. It was like nonsensical, had very sexist undertones, and eventually he was just cut off. Like, nope.
Like, I'm sorry. Did you have anything to say about the bride or groom? I actually did not. But my wife gives teaspoons to God because she only is in the kitchen. And
if your neighbor needs some sugar, you loan it to him. That's how to be a good neighbor and a good wife. And wife as sugar in the kitchen.
But if you look at my wife, I take that to you looking at my property, and that's envy, and that's one of the sins.
Tablespoons, not teaspoons, and they're both TSP. That makes no sense. Don't get me started on why are we on the metric system?
She says, wait, I give 3 teaspoons of sugar to God, and God said that's a tablespoon. And she said, "Fuck you, God. You don't fucking tell me conversions because this is a math class, okay? This is life."
And thank you so much to the father of the groom. Next up is the best man speech. And then we're going to do the limbo and the chicken dance and the dollar dance. I used to be a wedding DJ in college.
I can see that.
Very good at it. The first one I DJ'd, right? I had no idea what I was doing. I trained, but I didn't know what I was doing. It's like a rural country kind of wedding, and I do my thing. I'm great at it. I got the crowd. I hit all my cues, announced everybody in the night. I was killing it, right? Afterwards, the father of one of the people that got married came up, gave me a tip, very nice, shook my hand. The bride thanked me personally. I was like, oh, happy life, happy marriage, whatever. The groom came up to thank me, and then he hugged me, and I was like, that's fine. So you're drunk, it's your wedding, whatever. He hugged me for a very long time, and not like you're attractive. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I made a mistake. Please.
Oh, not
like an anchor.
Tan Erica doesn't have the answer for you.
No, full swing tan college Erica.
Yeah.
Being clung to by a young groom.
Oof.
And just being like, thank you so much. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like, I'm keeping it I'm flowing. I'm in the flow. I'm in a flow state. So I'm like, absolutely, what a pleasure it was to DJ your wedding. And I just, your bride is right over there. She looks so beautiful. You go have a good night, and he just kept, and again, it wasn't like it wasn't an attraction thing. It was you're the only person I don't know, and I could leave with easily. I'm gonna get in your Volkswagen bug. It was just like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I don't know what I did. Like that tension, and me again, just patting him on the old friend back. When you go in for a hug and somebody pats you on the back in that condescending way. And I'm like, and there's that bride, and there's that bride. Oh my God. It was so insane. Oh God. Oh, I have so many insane DJ wedding stories, but that was the one that, like, I feel this in that wedding.
It started to pour rain, and people were trying to politely leave. The last thing that the person who's telling the story saw was groomsmen running to their cars with their trench coats folded up over their heads to protect their tiny sunglasses, because they couldn't have just taken them off. They were the best part of the outfit, and the band played the Matrix theme song very squeaky. This sounds so chaotic, and yet, dare I say, the perfect wedding?
Dare I say. Oh my goodness. You know what I think it's time for now, though?
What?
But only if you're ready.
Oh, hold on. I'm ready.
All right. Well, it's time for the dumpster fire of the week.
Oh my God.
Okay, this dumpster fire comes to us. It was a Twitter thread that sparked my memory and imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about the book series from my youth, from our youths, from a time before you were born, possibly. Animorphs.
Animorphs.
Were you, Cass, were you an Animorphs reader?
Are you kidding me? There was a character named Cassie. Of course
That's
I was
right.
an Animorphs reader.
So,
and my best friend in elementary school was named Rachel.
oh,
and
okay, of course, yeah.
So, yeah, we lived it. We lived the Animorphs. We were Animorphs.
We're reading from the parisreview.org and a Twitter thread by Pop Arena. So we're going to explain what Animorphs is for the layman. So there's so many like YA books in the 90s, like, you know, Checkout Lane. They were everywhere. Grocery stores. There were book fairs. They would come to your school and sell you books. It was amazing.
Lit.
It was amazing. Okay, so I saw this idea on Twitter. Sidebar. What if we had a book fair for adults, but with booze, but everything that we bought was essentially just donated to actual kids that need books, but we got the feel of being at the book fair again.
That's nice.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? But anyway, so basically, you know,
oh my God, do you remember those things that you'd buy at the book fair? They were questions, but it was like the size of a thick bookmark, you know, like it was a bookmark, but it was like pages, and they had questions on them, and the questions, like the answers would be on the back, and they had different themes.
Yes.
It was a Rolodex of questions or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You could get those at the book fair, and those were like, I attribute everything I know
to those.
There's those.
I read trivia books when I was a kid.
Sure.
Just I would read the encyclopedia. I would read trivia books. I'm like, well, if anybody needs to know how this movie got made, cracks knuckles, I know the complete story of Ishtar. Like, what? I was in the fourth
We didn't
grade.
have phones.
We have phones. We have the internet. Yeah. Anyway, so
we had a little bit of internet. At least I did.
But
not enough.
Enough.
Not enough. No.
So basically, there was these books, Animorphs, and the whole story was, it's insane. Millennials scream out, you know. They were books about kids who could become animals, like they could morph, but they were fighting aliens, like this alien race. It was insanity. Like, truly. I mean, what is your memory of them? Like kids could become bears or ants, and it was always a part of this whole, but there was a bigger story playing out. You know, these teenagers are morphing, and you know, they are fighting something, blah blah blah. You know, they would you know, change into a butterfly, a jaguar, a giant squid, and if you flip the book pages really fast, you could make the transformation occur or unoccur, like a flip book on the bottom of the pages, which was cool.
And they all had their own thing, right? They did, like, they couldn't, because Cassie became a wolf.
Yeah.
And she was a wolf she became a horse. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they could change into different animals. Yeah. So okay, so Earth has been invaded by these alien slugs called Yeerks. They get into the human ear and they take a residence in your brain. You know, no one knows that there are these aliens except for these 5 teenagers: Jake, Rachel, Cassie, Marco, and Tobias. So,
yeah.
And they've acquired these magical powers to become animals, right? So they have to, you know, do school and homework, but they also have to wage a battle against the Yeerks.
Okay.
So they would have to go to, like, you know, the Amazon rainforest, the North Pole, the deep sea, outer space, the late Cretaceous period. They can't get discovered by anyone. And there's this alien sidekick named Axe, who was a blue centaur obsessed with cinnamon buns. Like, it was like the Alf character, kind of. You know? But they were.
God, I really don't remember this.
Intense.
I remember them, but I don't remember all these plot points.
Oh, some of it I do remember. Like, it was like an alien species, and they were having to fight them. I didn't know that it wasn't everyone could know for some reason. I don't know. You know, there were $4, $3.99, and you were just got to get them all. There were like 50 something of these books. It's crazy. So anyway, but yeah, the kids would morph in, and something was happening in all times. So Pop Arena did an incredible thread about some of the craziest plot points that happened in Animorphs over the years. So,
okay. Yeah, let's do it.
So we're going to read some of our favorites. So at one point, the Animorphs are morphed into ants and experienced terrifying ego death as they turn, into these colony of insects. They're forced into a similar situation by being turned into termites, different books, different, stories. An animal lover, Cassie, is forced to kill the queen. Can you imagine?
No pressure.
Yeah. No pressure. No pressure. There's another incredible one. Oh my God. There's one that's like insane. Okay. Yeah. So here's a great one. In a prequel, one of the aliens' friends, Abron, again, guys, don't just go with it. Elfangor's best friend, Abron, gets stuck in the body of Taxon. These are actual names. I'm not making a thing up. A giant alien centipede with insatiable to perpetual hunger. Then Elfangor then deserts his post and hides as a human on Earth, where he co-creates Windows OS.
Wow, future.
Okay, so one time Jake gets swatted as a fly and nearly dies. We learn Bill Gates is Visor 3's twin brother and is also a Yeerk cannibal who finds his victims as an internet predator. People hated Bill Gates. People hate on Bill Gates for so many reasons. It does not get discussed enough. Like the microchips, of course,
What do you mean, of course? That was made up.
I know. I'm just saying. Nobody talks about the fact that he's a Yeerk's twin brother.
Totally.
And is a cannibal being an internet predator. Like, come on, y'all. In another prequel, Aileron, the host body for Visor 3.
Prequels to what? I'm so sorry.
The Animorphs.
Then they're not the Animorphs if they're the prequels.
Well, they're Animorphs, but they're the telling of the Yeerks, the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, like how did this war start kind of thing. Yeah. Look. So it's like in the book series, and all of a sudden they're like, well, before, it's like with Game of Thrones or the Song of Ice and Fire, like George R. Martin's like, okay, this is the story of what's happening now with like the war over the throne, but House of the Dragons is like, well, this is what happened 200 years ago.
Look, I don't want to fire you up, but by the way, they made the Animorphs into a TV show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And I guess it just didn't hit as hard as obviously like things like the Harry Potter books did, as far as their cultural impact. I would even say, because the more you describe it, look, I know I read these books, but you're saying a bunch of stuff that I don't remember at all. Yeah. So I kind of think it's giving Power Rangers to me almost.
It's a pre 9/11 world. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one book, the prequel where the host body, blah, 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 they nearly wipe out one of the race with sci-fi bio weapons. And the whole book is basically just the plot of Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar. So I'm like, did he read it?
Did James Cameron steal it then?
I mean, because if you look at the drawings, there's even some Avatar-esque elements. I don't know. There's like space Jesus, space Satan. They're in this war, right, with this race, the Yeerks, but then they meet like good Yeerks, and they're like, well, wait, like if that guy's good, are all like, if one Yeerk is good, they're like, well, should we paint everyone as bad from this race? So it makes you question things. It's wild. Wow. Yeah.
Big questions as a child.
At one point there's a Hitler plot. Oh yeah. Okay. So Tobias kills Hitler basically in an alternative timeline. The fascists, where the Animorphs are Nazis. Cassie morphs into a polar bear and attacks college students in the 1930s after they call her a racial slur.
Oh yeah. Cassie was black.
Yeah. It's wild.
I miss it. I'm sure that there's something like this that exists. I just wish that I could come up with an idea that, could sell like this and that I could write about 50 books.
Yeah.
Just pump out like 50, 60 page books about it,
Yeah. Well, it was written by K.A. Applegate, which were actually a husband and wife team, Catherine Applegate and Michael Grant. And then a ghostwriter took over after book 25. So all you have to do is kind of just R.L. Stein it, basically,
Totally.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Goosebump books were fun.
Oh, they were amazing. They were amazing. I still can't believe R.L. Stein was a real person. It feels like it should have been like a pseudonym, but whatever.
What are you hoarding?
I'm hoarding The movie The Northman.
Girl, really? You're gonna hoard that shit?
I fucking loved it.
Of course
Here's
you
why.
did.
Like, I like, not in a white supremacy way, and I fucking
Of
hate
course
that
not.
that white supremacy is based on anything Viking, because I think the Vikings are so fascinating in so many ways. Like, Norse mythology is just crazy cool. Their whole era was cool. I just think it's wild, like when they were pagan and then some of them became Christian, and like it's just an interesting time to study, and just the way they did stuff. And they didn't have horns on their helmets, but the Northman's great. So it's this Robert Eggers movie, right? And Alexander Skarsgård plays it's basically Hamlet, but it's based on the actual Norse story that Hamlet was based on, the original,
This is
Shakespeare's
a
Hamlet.
movie that Alexander Skarsgård has been trying to get made
Forever.
for the majority of his career, by the way.
Yeah, he's like, finally. But
really wanted to make it.
So it's got like Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicole Kidman and some of the players from Robert Eggers' world, like the dad from The Witch and all these characters. Anyway, so but I think I'm not a Norse mythologist or anything, but it does seem to somewhat follow a lot of actual more Viking culture and history in a way. But the crazy thing is, Vikings were known for like berserker mode, where they would just go like crazy into battle, like bloodlust, right? Well, we think that they were probably on some type of drugs to get them there, and that they were embodying like an animal inside of them. But there's this insane scene where they're in just basically loincloths with shields and their spears and swords, and they're just beating their swords on their shields, and they're covered in like blood or paint, and they're just howling like wolves, and they're becoming animals so they can go berserker mode and raid a village or whatever. It's just it's just watching these men around a fire just go insane. I'm sitting there watching it, and it's supposed to be serious. I'm laughing. Like, it's so absurd.
Yeah, that movie's fucking hilarious.
It's unintentionally hilarious in so many ways. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, men should not gather in groups. Like, I love them so much. Individual, you're amazing. And twos, great. But like 6 or more of you're gonna like paint yourselves like wolves and go nuts. Like, it's the funniest shit. Oh my, I just was laughing. I think everyone should see it. It's neat because it's shows like Iceland and Ireland and Scandinavian Stockholms and all that stuff, but it's just nuts. Like, Willem Dafoe's in it. I love him, but
I did not like it as much as you did, but I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I think if you see it as like a dark comedy instead of like a serious movie, you enjoy it more.
I went in blind, and I feel like it was like I went with a group of people who were like, "Oh, we're doing a group to go see The Northman," and Taylor was like, "Oh, I want to see that movie," and I was like, "Well, I hate to be left out, so I guess I'll go." I had no idea what I was about to watch. I was like, "Oh, this is about Vikings." That's all I knew. I didn't realize it was going to be what it was, which was like, whatever. Watch if you're interested.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so absurd. Anyway, see it as a comedy. Don't see it as a serious movie, and you'll be so much happier. What are you hoarding?
I'm hoarding a book. It's called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It's by Gabrielle Zevin, and it takes place in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. It takes place over like a long span of time, but it's about these 2 people or 3 people who like make a video game company, which I know that pitch doesn't sound like it would have a lot of broad appeal, but it's so like the characters are like, I don't even care about video games, but the characters are so well written. It takes place in Los Angeles and a little bit in the East Coast. God, I've just been loving it. I started it a couple months ago, and then but I was like sometimes when you do the audiobooks on Libby, you get like an offer for like a skip the line rental, but it's only 7 days instead of 21. So if you don't finish it in 21 or in your 7 days, then it just goes back onto your holds list. So I only got halfway through it in 7 days, and I've been waiting now until 2 days ago. I finally was like, finally. after months, they said, do you want this 21 days? And I said, yes. So I've just been rocketing through it, and I finished it. It's so good. It is so good. If you're a reader, even if you're not, I would say tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Don't be surprised if it gets made into a movie, because I'm sure it will, because it's popular. But yeah, you got to do it.
Have you watched *Halt and Catch Fire*?
No.
It's about the early years of like computing. It's got Lee Pace in it, my babe. But it's about, early computer games, and it's set like in Austin, I believe. But it's like, it's like 80s, early 90s, that kind of thing. But it's really, really well done.
Movie?
Yeah, it's a TV series.
Okay.
I think it was AMC. I think it's on Netflix now, though.
What's
but if you like a *Halt and Catch Fire*, it's a terrible name, but it's like a dramatic series. It was like 4 seasons. Mackenzie Davis is in it.
Okay.
Lee Pace, Scott McNairy. Really, it's really interesting. It's the 80s. It's the early 80s, about personal computing and all this stuff, kind of building a computer that can compete with IBM and just kind of the stuff that comes along. It's really, really interesting. I would highly recommend checking it out. Like, if you like this book and that kind of world,
yeah,
I think this might interest you as well.
I will look into that. Yeah, I mean, the video games is definitely a big part of it, but like, it's mostly characters, and there's like a twist. What are you throwing out?
All right, Netflix, you trash. And you bring us these reality shows and we're happy. And then you think we want more of those people. You think we want to follow their worlds. I don't. I want to see them in their little bubbles and then get rid of them. Netflix came out with a new show hosted by, of course, their little golden boy, Nick Lachey, called Perfect Match. And the concept of this show is that previous reality stars from Netflix, from like Too Hot to Handle, The Circle, all these shows, Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, The Mole, these Netflix shows, they live in a tropical villa, kind of, a Love Island-esque type thing, but they have to match with each other. And if they're the best match and they win games about each other, then they get the power to decouple and recouple people. So let's say, it's the first day, it's a perfect 8 and 8. So, 8 men, 8 women. Great. And let's say we're the best couple of the week. Well, I now get to go to a room with Nick Lachey, and then be like, oh, who I don't think is a great match? But then they introduce like new people every week. And they go, who's not a great match? I bet we could break them up by bringing in this guy. So you can't
but like, you do want to break up a good match, right? Because that's strategy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, but it's you can't just say you have to break up. You bring in people that you think the other person might like. So let's say there's a couple and you're like,
it is kind of like Bachelor in Paradise almost.
Yeah. But it's strategy.
And it's with all these people.
It's like Netflix reality stars
from Love is Blind.
Ugh.
You're throwing this out though. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie.
I just don't
I'm probably
like
gonna
it.
watch it. I mean,
they
that's
have
fair.
a game. They have a game called Fact or Cap.
Sure.
And I was like, no, baby. Nick Lachey, your relationship does not interest me. I don't know why you host any of these shows. I don't find you a particularly strong, charismatic person or strong
Nick
match.
Lachey, like, in his 50s too? Like, and he's saying
Good
Fact or
God, like,
Cap?
how old is he? Yeah,
I wonder how old is he?
Hearing him say it is like, oof.
Is that
stop.
Fact or Cap? Like,
yeah.
Fuck up.
He's 49 years old.
He's 49. Oh, I was close. I was really close.
Yeah, he's 50 saying, is it fact or cap? And I'm like, sometimes when a 14-year-old says it on TikTok, I'm like, you're too old for that word.
Babe, don't even worry about the fact that he's 49. Let's talk about the fact that he's 5'9". Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway,
I have
don't think it's
no
good.
shade towards my short kings. It just, the aesthetic of Nick Lachey is of that. It's an aesthetic.
Teach Netflix we don't like this. Don't watch it. I'm throwing it out. Anyway, what are you throwing away?
I'm probably gonna watch it, but I'll watch like one episode and then I'll probably like agree with you and then I'll turn it off.
Yeah.
So I have a walking pad, like, to like walk while I work so that my muscles don't atrophy.
Mm-hmm.
And these like little treadmills, I didn't realize this because I never owned a treadmill before, that they come with lube. Like you have to like lube the track sometimes, which is like, excuse me, like, I don't know why I didn't expect that sort of like everyone at the gym, like all the treadmills at the gym are just being lubed. Anyways, like you don't have to lube it that often, but this little bottle of lube that it comes with is just never closed. Like I try to close it and I've closed it many times and it's just never closed. So ever since I got this thing, I just find treadmill lube around.
Can you put it in another container?
I've put it in a plastic bag, but then it's like all kind of like
in the
seeping
bag
out. So like I get it to like be standing upright, but it just sucks. I don't know. So I'm throwing out the treadmill lube. I don't know why I have to do this extra maintenance. It makes me upset.
If it moves, you got to lube it. Your body, your car, your treadmill.
I guess.
If it moves, you got to lube it. I've always said
if it moves, it's got to lube. Whatever. Ask me.
Where can the people find you?
At Cass Cardenas on Instagram. I think I'll be on the Nooner podcast this week as well on the Spodcast Network if you want to listen to that. And where can the people find you?
You can find me at Iconic Erica Curry on TikTok and Instagram. And as always, you can find this podcast at Trashy Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You can also find us at our website, www.trashypodcast.com. Also, the merch store, which is trashypodcast.threadless.com. Starting February 27th, things will be 20% off if you use the code LIKE10. Why is it 10 for 20% off? Who knows? But we're going to have a sale on merchandise starting February 27th. Help Cassandra get some honeymoon funds by buying some merch. Use LIKE10 for 20% off at www.trashypodcast.threadless.com. And as always, you can sign up to support our podcast at anchor.fm/trashy/support. And we appreciate all of the reviews. We see where we're charting. We thank you so much, Chad. We thank you so much, Nigeria. We thank you so much, Canada, Australia, the US. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow.
I love it. I love when we get that little notice that we're up in there, right? Climbing the ranks makes me so appreciative of all the listeners. So, hey,
yes.
Cass.
What's going on, girl?
Stay garbage.
You stay garbage, girl.
I will. Bye-bye.
Later, skaters.